with the form of the Kapila, and now the father says, yes, he has come and he has taken charge of the house, and I just go. He goes to the forest for tapasya. Now Kapila sits in front of Devahuti. Devahuti gets a flash that he is none other than the Lord, and immediately she started asking the questions. So many questions. She says that I am just an ordinary housewife. I have not made any studies, no PhD, no university, no Veda, no Upanishad, no scriptures, no Shastra, no understanding, except serving as a very ordinary rural housewife in the house. I don't know anything. For people like me, is there no sadhana? Is there no mukti? Then Kapila says, Mukti, moksha, sadhana, nothing to do with your knowledge, with your education, with your degree, with your qualification, or with your niceties, with your urban or rural, nothing to do with that. The liberation as well as imprisonment, both of these things are connected only with the mind. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. Mukti comes only when you develop your mental state to such a level where all the things for which you yourself has actually you are bound, you have actually given your hand to be tied by somebody, and day in and day out, day after day, week after week, month after month, you get yourself imprisoned in the community, in the society for so many things, and all these entanglements is the result of the mental desires and mental aspirations and ambitions, over ambitions, etc. So it is the mind which is responsible for actually binding the person, making the person slaves, imprisonment to the people, and it is the same mind which can actually liberate the people. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. All bandhana comes from the mind. One after another, you go on adding and adding and adding and adding desires and wants and needs, comforts and luxuries, aspirations and ambitions. You want everything, everything comes, and coming means it is just imprisonment. So you have to take it out and get relieved from that, get released from that. Ultimately, when you empty everything, that is the release from the clutches and the control and the imprisonment. That is liberation. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. Then he says, after all, I am very ordinary. How do I know all the gnana? Then he says, it is not the reading of the Veda, reading of the scriptures that matters. Application of the mind is one thing. Look at here. Look at this finger. Mother, look at this finger. What is that? Says, Mother, this finger is a small finger. Small finger means it represents smallness, meanness, cheapness, your narrow-mindedness, your shallowness, your hollowness. That is why it is called small finger. Small finger indicates the smallness and the pettiness of the mind. It means the avidya, it means agnana, it means ignorance. Many people say ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is avidya, ignorance is agnana. Ignorance is not bliss. That is why it is here. This small finger indicates, represents avidya, agnana, moha, maya. Then the second one, because of the moha, because the maya, because the ignorance, because the agnana, because the avidya, I want this, I want this, I want that chocolate, I want ice cream, I want to go, I want that, 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 I want. Every second you want, every minute you want, every hour you want, even in night, even in sleep you want. Always I want this, I want that, I want this. Entire life becomes this udghosha of I want and I want. This second finger, I want, stems from the petty finger, small finger, avidya, agnana, ignorance. Ignorance creates the wants, ambitions, over ambitions, not needed for your normal life. The third one, When my both the children are so much interested, so crying, so affectionate, how the hell I can sit normal? So I go work, I do overwork, I do overtime, I earn money, I earn bonus, I do earn. So doing karma, doing the work, doing the duty, doing overtime, working, toiling, spoiling. Then the fourth one, who is doing all this? Who is doing the work and who is having the wants, who is having the aspiration? This one, that is Jiva. This is Jiva. Jiva is the person, Jiva is the life, Jiva is the being which is having this ignorance, which is having all the wants and ambitions, which is doing all the work, karma, and this Jiva. And when the Jiva, entire life of 70 years, 80 years, 100 years is completely immersed in doing, purchasing, doing, wanting, doing, purchasing, doing, wanting, entire life. And this great finger, grand finger, big finger, this is the actual divinity, this is the God. When Jiva is completely immersed and engrossed in Ajnana, avidya, moha, maya, wants, ambitions, etc., work, etc., and God will be completely in a he distances himself. God, divinity, nobility, godly thoughts, that will sadhana will never occur to the jiva, to the people who will be completely engrossed in the lokic, mundane, materialistic, money-making activities. At some point of time, if this jiva, either because of the repentance, or because of the hits, or because of the Agni Pariksha, or because of the tensions and challenges, if this jiva is realized, if this jiva realizes, and it starts avoiding the arrogance that it has developed because the ignorance. Arrogance is the result of ignorance. Now it has the proportion of arrogance is reduced. It starts realization, it starts understanding, it starts bending down, bending the body in front of the God, going to the temples, chanting, reciting, just bending down. Ultimately touches the feet of the Lord. Touches the feet of the Lord. This particular moment, when the jiva understands the significance and continuity, controlling power of the God, falls at the feet of the Lord. This is the gnana. This is gnana mudra. This is gnana mudra. And when this comes, the touch of divinity comes to jiva. The touch of divinity comes to jiva. And when the God's grace and God's touch and God's blessing and God's security, sense of security comes and sense of divinity comes, you need not physically be bending always in front of the God. You can come back. You can be like this. Now, God Himself makes, even if you make one step movement, God makes 100-step movement towards you. He just comes and stands in front with you, sits in with you. He will be there with you. This is called Abhaya Mudra. You will be fearless. You will have Dhairya. You will have Sthairya. You will have Atma Shakti. You will have Atma Sthairya. You will have confidence. You will have self-confidence. You will have conviction. You will have character. You will develop credibility. Now you will have guts and you will have thunder, because you are not Anatha. Lokanatha, Jagannatha is with you now. You are not Anatha. Anatha Prajna goes out. But for that, ignorance and arrogance should be eliminated. Ignorance and arrogance. And once jiva falls at the feet of the God, the same three, ignorance, ambitions, karma, same three, suddenly same fingers will turn into Gnana, Bhakti, Vairagya. All this knowledge actually will be given by Kapila to Devahuti, and Kapila Devahuti Samvada dialogue is such extraordinary and mystical and celestial. Swami Prabhupada of ISKCON was attracted to that so much. Ultimately, he has written 300 pages independent book on the dialogues and conversations of the mother and the son. That is the significance of that. Then at the end, son tells to the mother, have this gnana that whatever may be, you may be educated, you may be qualified, you may be intelligent, you may be brilliant, you may be beautiful, you may be bright, you may be blessed, and you may be rich, and you may be aristocrat, you may be prince, and you may be president, whatever you are. Ultimately, you are controlled by uncontrollable factors, and that ultimate source and that ultimate force controls you also along with everybody. The moment you understand that that is the gnana, whosoever I am, still I am just ordinary small fellow in front of that universal light and delight and enlightenment which actually protects and takes care of everybody. And having this idea itself is the beginning of the movement towards divinity. Have that idea. Then he says, any person who knows that I am nothing, I'm not as great, I am not that extraordinary. I may be extraordinary, but it is with the grace of that extraordinary ultimate force. If a person gets that one, that is the beginning of the knowledge, that is the elimination of the ignorance. This gnana will take you towards humbleness, humility, simplicity, and you will just fall at the feet of the Lord. You will get the grace of the Lord. You will get the grace of the elders. You show respect and regard to the elders. This is called act of simplicity and humility. And this is going back to original, going back to normal. Once you develop this is bhakti, that is gnana. What is gnana? I am not everything. I may have money, I may have bungalow, I may have car, I may have body, I may have beauty, but still this is not permanent and durable and stable. Everything, including my beauty, my aristocracy, my richness, my qualification, my knowledge is controlled by some factor. The beginning of that knowledge is gnana, and that makes you simple and humble. That is bhakti. And with gnana and bhakti, you will develop a type of non-interest towards immaterial and irrelevant things. Only with the dignity, with the decency, with the culture, with perfect understanding, with realization of what is good and what is bad, and there is something, a great power called as divine power or the godly power, then you will understand all these things are futile. All these so-called utility are nothing but ultimately they become futile. All utility, futility. So you will not waste your time, your resources, your mental energy, your focus power towards these irrelevant things and immaterial things which will never give any happiness to you. And that quality time, shift it towards these things which will give you mental power, mental energy, peace, focus, and happiness internally, and happiness in the family. Shift that power to this power. And ultimately, that particular factor which tells you, leave it, it is not concerned to you. Leave it, it is not relevant to you. And you will understand that is irrelevant, that is immaterial, that has nothing to do with. It is a waste of time and waste of energy, waste of money. I don't want. This is the beginning of the Vairagya. The beginning of the Gnana. I am nothing. I may be great, but I am nothing. There is something extraordinary and excellent, and the enlightening thing is there, celestial thing is there, and even before me it was there, and even after me it will be there. It is there within me, and without me also it is there. That knowledge, beginning of that knowledge is Gnana. Once you realize that, bend your body, bend your mind, bend your body, bend your mind, become humble, become simple, become humble, become simple, all making the impressions and putting up the show, stop it first. And that is the bhakti. Then unnecessary things, irrelevant things and immaterial things, and unnecessary people, irrelevant people, meaningless people, leaving the company and association of those people. That is the beginning of the Vairagya. So Gnana and Bhakti and Vairagya, complete depiction and description has been given. Now she is Now that old lady Devahuti is so much equipped with that extraordinary celestial and divine knowledge directly told by the Lord himself in the form of the Kapila. Ultimately, Kapila just moves out, fades out. She opens the eyes, he is not there. But now she has no interest in the earthly and the worldly affairs. And she had realized the real soul. She closes the eyes, sits in the Padmasana, sits in the Yogasana, and invokes. She gives a trigger. Most of you have seen the Terminator film. The Terminator film, a gentleman who will be walking with the guns, etc., suddenly he will melt and he becomes liquid, and the liquid which is flowing suddenly takes a form, becomes a human. Where from the concept has come? This lady Devahuti, after listening to all the Kapila Muni's Tattvopadesha, after his moving away, sits in the Yogasana, gives the triggers to the body. From her Yoga Shakti, she liquefies the body. It flows as the water. It flows as a river. It flows as a pure river. It flows as a sacred river. River full of sanctity and divine grace. And for the first time in the history of the world, that flows as the river of knowledge, Gnana and Bhakti and Viraga. And that was Saraswati River. And that Saraswati River became Saraswati civilization. The whole of India and the knowledge of civilization comes from the Saraswati civilization. And that comes from Devahuti. And Devahuti's knowledge comes from Kapila. Kapila is none other than the God. Now, these are all the stories of the daughters. Akuti, Prasuti, Devahuti. Now, the Bhagavata comes to the stories of the children, sons. There were two sons, Uttanapada, Priyavrata. Priyavrata, the very name, what is in the name? Everything is in the name. Always I tell, whenever you are actually naming your children, think 100 times. Last year I was there in America. 6 months I was there last year in America. And suddenly one lady, when I was just telling, read the Vishnu Sahasranama, chant the Vishnu Sahasranama, you got fantastic, beautiful names, divine names. In your naming your male child, select any name from Vishnu Sahasranama, put it, I give. Then she came and she started weeping. Why? I told. Then she said, no, something has happened in my family. What happened? She said, my husband is a IT professional, always moving around different towns. I was fully pregnant and nobody was there. And for my in-laws, visa was denied by US authorities, so they did not arrive within time. I was alone in the house and I got admitted to the hospital. I went alone, and my husband had been to a meeting in a very different place in Ohio State. He went to Ohio State, and it was the point of delivery, and I delivered the baby. And doctor said, "What is the name? What should be the name of the baby? We have to write it. No one here will write it. You can't wait it." Then I did not have anything. I telephoned my husband. He was in a meeting, was presiding over a meeting. It was an important meeting. And he told also, it is nuisance. Why are you disturbing me? He said, God delivery. I given delivery to the child. Please tell me. Okay, what is there in the name? I said, Tata. We put Tata. Tata. No, there was no meaning. It was because he wanted to just put the telephone. That is all. Give the Tata. That is the name. Then she was so sincere, so innocent, more than sincerity. She was so innocent. She told to the doctor, my husband proposed the name Tata. So at the end of American doctor, it doesn't matter whether Tata or Patta. So immediately they wrote Tata. And once you write it, that becomes a name, and for next 100 years that will be there. I will put If the parents, the father and the mother who are the creators of the child are not in a position to give 1 minute for the child, imagine the height of the responsibility. And she came and asked Tata what again, and I told, okay, don't, but it's not that good, but still, for God is called Sarva Shabda Vachya. It doesn't go waste. Still, parents should have minimum common sense. Priyavrata, they named Uttanapada and Priyavrata. Priyavrata, the name gave spirit for him. The name gave hint for him. The name gave guidance for him. The name gave direction for him. He thought, My parents named me as Priyavrata because they want me to have the Vrata, Niyama, Puja, Dharma, Anushtana, all these things. So he started doing meditation, Sandhyavandana, Gayatri, and once he became 19-year fellow, he just fell at the feet of the parents and told them, you have named me Priyavrata. I like Vrata, I like Niyama, I like Dhyana, I want to do tapasya. I am going to tapasya. Don't stop me, please bless me. Just even without waiting for anything, he went to forest and started the tapasya. Automatically, the only alternative was the elder person, he has to become the king. So after Swayambhumanu, the first king of the whole world, it was Uttanapada who became the king. Very nice person. He was liking morality, he was liking character, he was liking ethics. He was of a good conduct automatically because he was liking Niti, he was liking Suniti. He married a lady called Suniti. And from Suniti, Uttanapada gets a child. His name was Dhruva. Dhruva means star. Dhruva means star value. Dhruva means polar star. Dhruva means permanent star. But as a king and as an emperor, how can you expect the fellows to sit always only in the Rajya Sabha, only in the palace with the wife? And naturally, he is expected to move around to the city supervision, going to the shopping complex, going to the mall, etc. So when you go to the mall, when you go to the shopping complexes, automatically you have to taste something. So he started tasting the taste. So now he got it. He got the ruchi. Now he was addicted to Ruchi, he liked Ruchi, he started loving Ruchi. Ultimately, he was so much fascinated towards Ruchi, he married a lady called Suruchi. And from Suruchi also, he got a son. He was not bad, he was better, and his name was Uttama. When Ruchi comes, who wants Nidhi? When Suruchi came, Suniti was sent into the outhouse. And Suruchi naturally became the Pattadarani. And the king and the queen enjoying the luxury, the 7-star luxury of the entire kingdom, the palace of the paradise. Everything was happy, but Suruchi never allowed the husband even to see the lady Suniti. And when the king himself is not caring, naturally all the dasas and dasis, they are least bothered about that. Only Suniti and Dhruva, 5-year fellow. One day Dhruva came to the Rajya Sabha when the open session was going on. The king and the queen, they are seated there. And Uttama, Suruchi's son, was seated so happily on the lap of the father. 5-year Dhruva, what he can understand about the politics, internal politics of the family, just out of the natural instinct and affection, affinity, love towards the father, he runs there and about to jump and sit on the lap of the father. And immediately the stepmother, Suruchi, looks at it and she stops, she puts her hand and says, "Stop, idiot, get down." Why, what? You cannot sit like that, you are not my son. Still, if you are hell-bent upon sitting on the lap of your father, do whatever I say. What should I do? Tell me. Go to the forest, leave the palace or leave the capital, go to the forest, perform tapasya and have the darshan sakshatkar of the Lord and just get the boon from the Lord. What type of boon? Shed this body and give Punarjanma now and here, and in that Punarjanma make me to be born as the son of my stepmother Suruchi. Then only if you come as my son, you will be entitled and qualified to sit on the lap of the father, not as Suniti's son. After listening to that, he was angry, he was wild, he got irritated, the mind agitated, he was crying, and he just go to the outhouse and actually falls at the feet of mother and repeats whatever that Suruchi has told. Then the mother said, even after listening to such harsh words from the wife, your father has kept quiet. It means to say we are totally helpless, and we are totally helpless in this palace. I will not be able to help anything to you. And your stepmother has shown the right direction. When all the people have left and when nobody is coming to your help, when the human beings have lost that human touch and concern and the care, then it is only the God who should come to rescue. She has given the right advice, she has shown the right guidance, and you go to the forest. I am not afraid, I am not worried just because you are a 5-year small fellow. Just we don't have any other alternative except turning. When all the people fail, it is the God who will come to our rescue. In the Vishnu Sahasranama book, I have written it very boldly. When everything fails, chant Vishnu Sahasranama, it will come to your rescue, I will tell you. It is my personal experience and thousands of people have told me about it. And now Suniti is telling to Dhruva, go to the forest. Then she prays to the Lord and she sends some 5-year person, giving all the moral courage and blessing, and she prays, whatever dharma that I have done so far, if you have taken it, give that blessing to my son and take care of him. So the small 5-year son Dhruva goes to the forest, a deep forest, a dense forest, a forest in which human beings did not enter for the last 10,000 years. Such a dense and deep forest, Dhruva is entering there. No human being. Suddenly, there was a human sound. Narayana, Narayana appeared. Dhruva turns towards that. The Veena, Mahati Veena sound appeared. Then Dhruva turns towards that. Naradji is coming there. Narad comes and he says, Dhruva, where are you going? I am going to perform tapasya into the forest. Why? My stepmother has told like this, and naturally I don't have any alternative, and my mother has also blessed me. I want to sit on the lap of my father, is where I am going. Then Naradji blasts him left and right. When a family, all these small talks will come and go, and one is, you are a small fellow, you are not that big enough to take all these small matters so seriously. In every family, such small talks will come and go. You cannot make it a big issue. You fellow, get back. Then he said, nothing doing. There is no one in the entire palace who can take care of me, and my mother also has sent me, so I will go. Then Narada says, we don't know what is the meaning of the forest. He says, in the forest there will be lion, there will be tiger, there will be wolf, there will be serpent, there will be python, there will be all terrific wild animals. They will pounce upon you, they will kill you, they will tear you into pieces. Then Dhruva says, all these lion, tiger, snake, python, deer, jackal, I have seen all that enough in the palace itself. Then Narad puts another test. I say, you fellow, you 5-year fellow, a small child, you, how dare you go to the forest? I say, you say that you are performing tapasya. Do you know the meaning of tapasya? Do you know the definition of the tapasya? You know the modalities and methodology of tapasya? You know the system of tapasya? What tapasya you are going to do? You don't know anything. Since 10,000 years, not a single human being dared to enter this forest, and this small fellow has entered as if he is a great fellow. Get back, I say, idiot. Then Dhruva says, Naradji, don't mistake what you have told. Since last 10,000 years, not a single human being dared to enter this forest. And when that is the reality and that's the situation, when a small fellow like me coming here to perform tapasya, without knowing how to do tapasya, if you have come here, that means to say, God has sent you to teach me how to perform tapasya, teach me. Then Narad is bold. He is caught and bold. Then Narad says, I am extremely delighted, I am extremely excited. It is not the question of the children, it is not the question of the age at all. Narad there declares, it is not the question of the age. Many a times we think that children will not be knowing. The last day I am going to speak about that. 24 gurus, learn from 24 gurus, and one such guru is a child. Most of us, we feel that after all is a child, is a boy, what he know. I know everything, we don't know anything. There is a transparency. But the God says, child knows and we don't know. We think we know, we don't know. But one difference is there. We the elders, we don't know that we don't know. The difference between the child and the elders is, child knows, he doesn't know. But we don't know that we don't know. The whole problem starts from that. Now, Narada says, it's great, it is great. You may be a 5-year child, but determination. Determination. Every child should have the determination to do good things, to do great things, to do grand things, to achieve great, extraordinary. From the small age it has to come. From the small age it has to come. And Narada takes the child, hugs the child, and towards the ears of the Dhruva, Narada's mouth comes, and they ask the child to close the eyes, listen to that small mantra which I am going to give you, tell me, repeat it 3 times, and that will be your mantra for tapasya, and I will just tell you, repeat it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Then 3 times Dhruva repeated it, took it to the heart, registered it, it was observed. Then he says, close your eyes, closed. Listen to me, this Vasudeva is the special roop of the Lord, and that rupa will be like this. He gives the vivid description of that particular Vasudeva rupa. Close your external eyes, open your external eyes, internal eyes, go deeper within and place that Vasudeva, and from your mouth you go on chanting this, that will be your tapasya. And he sent Dhruva to the forest, and Dhruva for 5 months intensively and extensively, forgetting the whole, he closed the external eyes, opened the internal eyes, placed that Vasudeva in the position of the heart, and he was looking with complete light, delight and enlightenment. There was so much of light inside, electrifying impact was there inside, and continuously, without a break, incessantly, he was just chanting the tapasya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That is why it became the most powerful mantra, Siddhi mantra, Varaprada mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Then after 5 months, there was so much suffocation in all across, in all the worlds. Then all the gods goes to God, and God now tells, don't worry, I will go there and pacify the student. Then God sits on Garuda, the Lord Vasudeva comes and stands in front of Dhruva. Lord Vasudeva, God himself actually comes on Garuda and standing in front of Dhruva, but Dhruva is not opening the eyes. He is waiting for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and for the first time in the history of the Bhaktas, God is in the waiting list now. God is waiting whether my Bhakta will open the eyes and see me. Even after 5 minutes he did not. Then the Lord took the Shankha in his hand, from that conch, from the Shankha, he touched the cheek of Dhruva. Shankha means Lakshmi, Shankha means Gnana, Shankha means Shastra Gnana, Shankha means alertness, Shankha means awakening. So Shankha touched the Shankha, immediately 2 things happened. Number 1, that Vasudeva Rupa which was there within it disappeared. Suddenly it was like a shake, and there was a touch here, and the child was compelled to open the eyes. The moment he opened the eyes, whatever Rupa that he was contemplating or thinking or visualizing internally for last 5 months, same Rupa has come in the form of Sakshat Lord. Immediately fell at the feet of the Lord, and tears the eyes, but he could not speak anything. Now Lord Vasudeva himself will ask a question. You did such a small child of 4 years in this dense forest for 5 months continuously, incessantly performed tapasya. What for? What do you want? Whatever you want, I am going to give. Ask anything. What do you want? What do you want? Then Dhruva says, Yonta pravishya mama vachamima prasuptam sanjeevayityakila shakti dharasvadhamna anyam chahasta charana shravana tvagahadin prana namo bhagavate purushaya purushyam. I'm a small child of 5 years. How do I know? What do I know? What do I want? Millions of such children are created by you, and you know what I know. You know what I want. How do I know what I want? How do I know what I want? You know much better what is good for me and what is wanted by me. That is the reason always children should know. At the most, if you ask your parents, you may ask ice cream or you may ask chocolate. That is the end of it. But if you leave it to the parents, they think much better. When Ramachandra was Rama and Lakshmana was taken by Vishwamitra to Janaka Maharaja in Mithila, and there was Shivatanas there with with Janaka Maharaja. It was introduced, and Vishwamitra says, let our small children, 14-year boy Ramachandra, you have a look at the Shivatanas. Okay, it doesn't make any difference. So immediately Janaka Maharaja ordered 5,000 strongest, very powerful and strong wrestlers to bring the Shivadhanas. With terrific difficulty, those 5,000 strong, muzzled wrestlers dragged, and ultimately they were able to bring that Shivadhanas. Then Rama asked Vishwamitra, can I touch it? Okay, you can touch it. It is Rama becomes so touchy about it, so he asked whether I can touch it. Now nobody loses anything by touching it. So many people have touched it and they fall, but I am sure you will not fall down. You touch it. So Ramachandra comes there and Sita is looking there, Janaka is looking here, Vishwamitra is here. Rama comes there and touches it, the hands and the fingers goes like that, and the one hand is touching like that, another hand goes from the bottom, and suddenly it takes that into grip, takes that into control, lifts it in such a powerful way, it broke down. Immediately, Janaka, Sita, so much of excitement and happiness all across. Janaka comes and says, I had already made an open announcement that anybody who is going to take it, lift it, and actually do that for them. My daughter Sita will be given now and here. Rishi also has come, Purohit has come, Vishwamitra is there, and Vamadev will be there, Svananda will be there. Immediately we will perform the marriage. Then Rama says, this was not the part of the agreement, number one. In the contract, this was not there. I just asked only one thing, whether I can touch it. That is all. You told okay, nothing else. Secondly, I am a 14-year fellow. Marriage is a relationship of one full life. I don't have knowledge about it. I don't have expertise about it. I don't have exposure about it. I don't have experience about it. I don't know anything about that. How the hell you can expect a 15-year fellow, 14-year fellow to take a decision in the marriage which affects for the next full life, 100 years? What type of girl is good for me? My father knows and my parents knows much better, because what interest I have in my future, they have 100 times more interest in me and my future. So it is, as far as the marriage is concerned, it is always the parents who take more care, who have got more experience, who got more exposure, who got more expertise, and they know what is good for me than what I know about what is good for me. So as far as marriage is concerned, if at all any fellow, 14-year fellow, 15-year fellow takes a decision and says, I love you and marries, utter idiot is that fellow. Ramachandra's word. He said, you are ignorant, you are innocent, you don't have exposure, you don't have anything. Just in a one moment of ecstasy, if you shout, I love you and I marry you, what happens next 100 years? Your father, your mother, they have seen the world, they have experienced, they know what, and they have more affection in your future, they have more concern in your future than what you have in your future. As far as marriage is concerned, leave it to the elders. Advice of Ramachandra. Now Dhruva says, I'm a small fellow of 5 years, what do I know, what I want, and you know much better what I want. So whatever you think, you give. Then Dhruva also says, I don't have the mental capacity here to say, ask what I need. I don't have voice here, I don't have Chaitanya here. Immediately, Lord, Yanta Pravishyamo, Ajitma, Brajuttam, Sanjeeva, Tekara Sudhamna, Anyam Jahastachara, Shravanatvagadi, Prana, Namo Bhagavate, Purishaya, Tukyam. Whatever intelligence you have, whatever intellect you have, whatever thought flow you have, whatever thought current you have, it is He who has actually put there. Whatever matu that is coming in, whatever dhatu that is coming in, whatever communication is coming in, whatever flow is coming in, whatever voice that is coming in, whatever tone that is coming in, whatever tune that is coming in, whatever magic that is coming in, whatever music that is coming in, everything He has put there. Whatever life that is there, whatever Chaitanya that is there, whatever extraordinary thing that is there, whatever guts that is there, whatever thunder that is there, whatever storm that is there, whatever lightning that is there, whatever delight that is there, whatever enlightenment is there, it is He who has placed that there. Now, God is supremely happy with Dhruva. Dhruva, I know why you have come. Shall I tell you? Yes, please tell me. You want to sit on the lap of your father? And Dhruva smiles and he did not like to speak about it. Lord says, not only on the lap of your father, on that Simhasana on which your father Uttanapada is sitting, No ruler in the past had that privilege. You will be actually the emperor of the whole universe for 36,000 years. And after that 36,000 years, no other emperor in the past and future will be having this privilege. After ruling 36,000 years the whole universe, you will become the king of the Jyotirmandala, where all the grahas and nakshatras and saptashis and Surya and Chandra, everyone will be revolving around, and you will be leader of all those things. Narad by that time will be coming and informing to Uttanapada, and Uttanapada, Suruchi, Suniti, the entire military, they are waiting with Chaturanga Sainya at the entrance, and no Dhruva after having that will come back. And father embraces, father hugs, and Suniti embraces, and Suruchi also embraces, and Dhruva says, when the God himself actually blesses you, who will have enmity with you? Suruchi becomes so close. And then Dhruva rules for 36,000 years, and Uttama, the son of Suruchi, one day goes to the forest, and one yaksha, by just with a small thing, became a big irritation, became a big quarrel, and in that big quarrel, one yaksha kills that Uttama. Then searching for the son who did not return to the palace, Suruchi, Uttanapada's another wife, comes searching, and there is a big forest fire. And that engulfing of the forest fire, she was burnt and reduced into ashes. Now Dhruva becomes wild, and Dhruva exposes, and Dhruva takes the entire army and comes, starts fighting with Yakshas, and Yakshas king Kubera comes, and there was a terrific war between Dhruva and Kubera. Ultimately Swayambhu Manu comes, the Tata of Dhruva, Dhruva's father Uttanapada's father Swayambhu Manu appears there. He says, Dhruva, you have forgotten, you had the darshan of Lord. After having the sakshatkara, darshan, blessing, the grace of Lord, still if you have not left the irritation, that anger and that fighting, what is the meaning of that? Leave it that. Kubera is the God. Has just fall at the feet, prostrate to him, ask for apologies, ask for a boon. Then Dhruva falls at the feet of Kubera. Then Kubera asks, any boon you want, any vara you want, you just ask and what to give. Then Dhruva sheds tears, he said, the Lord, no person in the world, no Bhakta in the world had the privilege of actually seeing the God at the age of 5, number one. And for no human being he has given that blessing of ruling the entire world for 36,000 years. For no person, no God he has given that extraordinary power of actually ruling the entire Jyotirmandala there. With so much of blessing, light, understanding and grace, still I did not leave that irritation, that anger, that krodha and that kopa. So bless me every 24 hours, entire my lifetime, and breathing in and breathing out, except the thoughts of God. There should not be any other thoughts. That is the blessing that I want. One moment of distortion and diversion actually created this type of thing, unbecoming of a person who has seen the God. Please give that boon. Every second of my life, and every breathing in and breathing out, it's only thoughts of God and thoughts of God. Nothing else should come. That is the one. Two sons of Dhruva, Utkala and Kalpa. Dhruva had 3 children. Dhruva's sons, 3 sons. Utkala, Kalpa, Vatsara. Utkala and Kalpa were cultured and nurtured by Dhruva and Dhruva's mother Suniti, and they became such a sattvic and yogic and tapasic, and ultimately they told the parents that they are going to the forest like Priyavrata, and they sat for tapasya. But the lineage and the lineage has to be continued, the dynasty has to be continued. Vatsara was the mate, Vatsara became the king. And Vatsara married a lady called Survithi. Then their son Pushparna. And for Pushparna, Prabha and Dosha, they were the 2 wives. In Prabha, he had 3 children called Prataha, Madhyandina, Sayam. In Dosha, another lady, he had Pradosha, Vishita, Ushpa. In Pushpa, he gets a son, his name was Sarvatejas. Sarvatejas' son, Chakshu. His son, Ulmukha. Ulmukha's son, Angaraja. Angaraja was like a Rajarshi. Angaraja was an extraordinary king that the world has ever seen. He was complete Dharmishta. the administration, extraordinary governance and efficient administration. Bhakti is concerned, celestial bhakti. Every second it was the God. Every second welfare of the people. That was how Angaraja ruled. That is why he was called Rajarshi. His wife was Sunita. Then Angaraja had a child, and that fellow, see Dhruva, that side Dhruva, this side Angaraja's son, his name was Vena. After 5 years, the fellow Vena was just going to the play outside. After 8 years, he was going from the palace outside. When he was an 8-year fellow, 9-year fellow, he was carrying a gunny bag secretly to the plays and games in the streets. Nobody was doubting. He wanted gunny bag, so he is taking gunny bag. 80-year fellow taking from the palace a gunny bag, nobody doubted. That fellow was going and he was carrying a gunny bag. If there is only one child sleeping or sitting or playing anywhere in the garden or in the street, simply was taking it and putting it in the gunny bag. Like that 3, 4, 5 children he collected and he was bringing the gunny bag, throwing it to the river. He started this as a game. Ultimately, he started beating the children, fighting the children, killing the children. Then he became adult, became a real killer only, became a criminal, became a robber, became a looter. Whatever amount of the advice given by the father, it bit in vain. Like police commissioners' children and ministers' children having full authority and no responsibility. Now this fellow going everywhere and looting the people. I am the king's son, you can't do anything, idiots. So no, ultimately Angaraja repented. Such a great kingdom and such a great dynasty of Dhruva. This horrible fellow, but and I failed in. So one night without informing anybody, he went to the forest, he became Prasthana. This fellow took the advantage, and at morning 6 o'clock he called all the ministers and told them, at 4 o'clock my father thought that the best the muhurta, and in the best muhurta, in the very good muhurta, Amrita muhurta, he wanted to actually coronate. So he called me, Pujaram. So he actually coronated me. He declared me, I am the king. He has gone to the forest for tapasya. Now I am the king, official king. At 11 o'clock I got a cabinet meeting, you attend. So first cabinet meeting he arranged at 11 o'clock, and they thought, yes, they believed him. At 11 o'clock all the ministers comes. Then he says, I am introducing the amendment to the constitution. In the entire day, starting from Swayambhu Manu, then Uttanapada, Dhruva, this is the first time some king actually opening the mouth, constitution amendment. What amendment you want to make? Dhruva, this fellow Angara, the Angaraja's son, Bena says, I am introducing this class. There is no question of you discussing or debating about that. I will move the motion, it is passed. What is the motion? It says, Na yashtavyam, na datavyam, na hotavyam, dvakachito, idanyamari dharmam bhiri goshena srotaha. That means to say, in my kingdom, there is no yagna, there is no yaga, no havana, no homa, no puja, no archana. All the temples will be under lockout from today. Everything, I am going to seal them and seize them. All the priests who are wasting their time, they must work in the fields from today. No dharma, no God. And all the, if any Rishi is performing any dhyana, tapasya, anything like that, it is just a drama. I am going to prosecute them and imprison them. Then Rishis advised him. He did not care. He said, Navishta Prithvipatihi. Who is the Prithvipati? King. And the king himself is the Vishnu. I say, whatever Shastra says. Navishta Prithvipatihi. I am the Prithvipati, I am the king, and I am the Vishnu. But all you are doing Abhisheka Panchamrita, you do it to me, not to the God. The height of arrogance, it became so severe, and all the Rishis encircled him. He was seated in the Simhasana. All the Rishis encircled him. They told, we don't waste our Omkara to kill you. We will just by one Humkara, at once collectively all the Rishis expressed, shouted, Hum. The power of the Humkara of the Rishis, he fell dead, it killed them. He was killed, body fell, and Rishis went to the forest. But his mother Sunita was so fond of him, she was liking the son so much. she did not allow the dead body to be taken for the cremation. She prepared a big vessel of the herbal oil. In that big herbal oil vessel, she kept the dead body of this Vena, and every day she was seeing the face of the sun. Then there was no king for the country. There was no king for the country. There was a lot of Arajakata, the looters, the gangsters, the robbers, and everywhere there is stealing. And people started crying, and all the people once again came to the forest and fell at the feet of the rishis and they declared, please do something. The Rajya is a Rajakata. There is a leaderless, kingless. Everywhere there is looting, robbing, smashing, and thieves. And the heyday, the thieves and the bandicoots and the criminals are having the heyday. Do something. And all the rishis, they came to the city, they came to the palace, and they just called the Sunita, the queen. They asked her, the whole country has become kingless. Do you have any other son? She said, no. Do you have any brother of the king, Angaraja? No. Do you have any step-brothers coming in the same lineage? No. Do you have any cousins? No. Do you have any DNA relatives? DNA relatives? No. That was the period when there was no democracy, no election like that. Only the people who will be actually coming in that particular lineage, they are entitled. So what? Then they remembered, okay, on that day we killed the king, your son, Vena. What happened to the dead body? What happened to the dead body? Then Shinita knew they are the rishis, they have yoga drushti, they have divya drushti. So if I am going to lie, they come to know about it. So she had no right. She said, I have not given that for the cremation. I have preserved the dead body for the purpose of with the herbal oil, just to have its darshan every day. Then summon, bring it. They summoned the dead body. Then from that dead body was there, and all the rishis, they got up now, they caught hold of the dead body from that herbal oil vessel, and they first took the thighs, and they churned the thigh of the dead body of the Vena. When they started churning it, suddenly a dwarf fellow, a stout fellow, a black fellow, a fellow having a different type of marks on his face, suddenly jumped out of that thigh. All over the body, all across the body, the fellow had small hairs, Vikruta, Virupa, dwarf, and that fellow, as soon as he jumped out, looked at the rishis, you have created me, what should I do? What should I do? What is my job? Tell me, tell me. Then the rishi said, I say, sit down first. Nishida, we'll tell you what is your job. Nishida. That fellow become the forerunner or the producer or the first person for all Nishadas, hunters, tribal people, these aboriginal people of the whole world. Then they took the Vena's right hand, churned it, and when they were churning, a beautiful Ajanamahu, glowing and radiant and extraordinary, fantastic personality emerged with fully dressed and fully armed. And he was called Prithu Chakravarti. From the left hand, when they churned the left hand, there emerged a beautiful, extraordinary, divine lady who was called Archi. And this Prithu is none other than the Vishnu taking another form of Prithu, Lakshmi taking the Amsha of Vishnu is Prithu, the Amsha of Lakshmi is Archi. Prithu and Archi becomes immediately the king and the queen, and automatically Kubera comes and Kubera brings Esha Vishnu Bhagawatha Kalabhona Palini Iyancha Lakshmi Sambhuti Purushasya Paini. Immediately Kubera brings Ratna Simhasana and makes them sit. Varuna brings Shetachitra, Vayu brings Chamara, Saraswati brings Apurvamala, Devendra brings Kirita, then Sudarshana was given to him, Chandra brings extraordinary golden chariot and wonderful mystical horses, Maharudra brings extraordinary sword, then Samudraja brings the Shankha, Parvati gives the shield, and the Bhudevi gives the Paduka, and all the Sutas and Vadyamagadas are appreciating and praising, and all the Rishis are doing the Swasti. Immediately say, stop it and stop it. Hey Suta, hey Magada, hey Somi Vandin, Loke Dhuna Spashta Gunasya Mesyat, Himashriyo Vastavayeshu Yajita, Mamaya Bhuvan Vidragiroha. Hey Sutta, hey Magadha, hey friends, awarenesses are not even I have not even started doing one small good thing. You are showering so much of gifts and so much of prizes and so much of appreciation to me. I cannot understand. I have not even started doing anything. And even if somebody does any good thing, still you should not anticipate or expect appreciation from the people. When that is the case, I have not done the one. And then he gives another thing. Okay, good people, noble people, rishis, kings, you are all giving gods, you are all giving, I should not reject it. Then he says, Prutu says, if another person honors you, praises you, appreciates you, puts a shawl, pats on the back, gives a gift to you, don't reject it. Then he gives a reason why. Don't accept thinking that you are so great, you are the Lord, you are the intelligent, you are the extraordinary person, and because of your energy, spirit, extraordinary beauty and all that, there is nothing doing. Then that is the beginning of your downfall. Then how do you accept? He says, when somebody gives something, somebody appreciates and praises, don't reject it, accept that, thinking